All right, Jim Alfredson here, and I wanted to make a quick video of this new camera that I got. I've been using these older SJCAM S4000 cameras. I bought these in 2014. Unfortunately, this particular model is no longer available, and I tried using the new ones that go under the same name, the SJ4000s, but they're completely different operating system, different chip, image chip capturing the video, and they are not very good for my purposes anyways. The biggest issue is that the HDMI output is half the resolution, so it's not even at 1080p. It's at like 720, and the on-screen display, that is the little icons of the battery life and the time remaining, the card capacity, time remaining, all that kind of stuff. All that is on screen, and you can't turn it off. It's a real drag. So I sent those back because they're obviously not going to work. And I spent quite a bit of time downloading and reading through all these manuals for different brands of action cameras because I didn't want to pay GoPro money for an action camera. I just think they're too expensive. And I found this one. It's by a company called EZVIZ. It's called the EZVIZ S2 action camera, light action camera. Found this on Amazon for 68 bucks, and it's good. It's very good. And I read through the manual, and it said it did what I needed it to do, which is turn off the on-screen display and have a nice crisp HDMI output. So what we're looking at right now in this video is the original 6-year-old SJCAM S4000. You can see the light. This is the white balance on auto. I've tried all the other settings in the white balance menu on this camera, and this is pretty much the best. The others are even worse. And it doesn't give you like a normal white balance numbering system, like 5600K, 3000K. It doesn't do any of that. That's the Kelvin temperature of the light. It just gives you like tungsten, indoor, outdoor. So it's kind of limited. Anyways, this is the SJCAM, the original. And now I'm going to switch over to the new camera. So that's the EZVIZ S2. The color is a little washed out, I guess, but it's much more natural. I mean, that's basically what my studio looks like. I wish I could get a little bit more saturation of the image. Maybe it would help to have some lights. But it's definitely better. Let's go back to the other one again. I guess that one's warmer, obviously, but the detail, if you look in the shadows, there's not a lot of detail there. It's the other camera is much more sensitive, but it's also got this blue cast to it. And again, I changed the white balance settings on this one as well, and this was definitely the best. You can get it to look closer to the SJCAM, but it doesn't quite get there. In fact, let me show you. We'll go back to SJCAM. I have to disconnect the HDMI from the new camera to change the settings. We go into white balance. Here's the I was on 3000K. Here's the 5600K setting. That's not good. That's too blown out for me. Real deep red cast there. Again, that's the SJCAM. It's funny how good these SJCAMs are for how cheap they were back in the day. These were like the first really cheap ones that I'd seen. All right, here's 6500K. I don't really see much of a difference there. A little more detail in the shadows, I guess, but still way too much yellow cast. I don't know if there's a way to get rid of that or not in the camera without, obviously we could do it in post-production pretty easy, but I'm going live here. I don't have color correction going live. And there's one more setting called native. That's actually not bad. That's close to where we were before. So let's look at, that's native, and I think the colors are a little bit better there. You can see it's not bad. Here's the SJCAM. SJCAM is on auto, so it's like changing lighting based on where we are. I think that looks pretty good, but the blacks are kind of not as black. It's interesting. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but I do like this EZVIZ cam. I think the detail, I like the detail of the shadows and stuff. I think it's going to be better for kind of a low light situation like in my studio. I'm going to add more lights. You might be able to see up in the corner. Up. I can't quite get up there. Hold on. Up here, I've added a Parcan. I've got one over by the organ too. And I think with some more light in here, I can get this to be a little bit better. So anyways, one thing that I did discover is the ISO settings on this new camera. The SJCAMs, the ISO maxes out at 400, which is quite low actually. And these S2 cams, it's confusing because they have similar names. SJ4000 is the old one. That's this one. And the S2 is the new one from EZVIZ. This one, the ISO settings, I think, go all the way up to like 3200 or maybe even farther than that. So it's supposed to be good in low light. It would defaulted to 1600, and the SJCAMs, like I said, can only go to 400. So I put it down to 800, and I think the shadows are much better. I tried 400 first, and it was too dark. But I think this image looks a lot better. Another interesting thing is that it has a automatic function that kind of de-fisheye lenses the thing. I mean, there's definitely still some fisheye going on, but it's a lot less than it was in that other video that I showed. And then another cool thing about it is that the HDMI output is not delayed. I was getting a delay in my videos between the audio and the HDMI, and I thought it was because of the switcher, but it's actually, I think it's because of these older cameras. So I'm going to put my hand here. You can hear me snap, and you can see it snap, and it's fine. Now I'm going to switch over to the SJCAM and watch this. It's weird because I can see it delaying. So there's about a 5-frame delay between the sound and the HDMI output. The sound is actually coming before the camera, so the video is delayed actually. And I was compensating for that with a Behringer processor that I just happen to have. It's like, it was sitting in my garage for 12 years or something. I never really used it, and I don't think I'm going to have to do that anymore. I'm going to do some tests. But the issue is I might not be able to use this camera until I get others that are just like it, because I can't mix and match now because the SJCAM cameras are delayed on the HDMI output and the EZVIZ is not. So it might be time to replace everything. There's the S2, EZVIZ S2. I like that image a lot better. I think it's a lot more natural. Still has kind of a blue tint to it, but it's not as bad. Okay, I think that's about it. I hope that helps. There's a lot of options for cameras out there. The biggest thing for me is I have to make sure that they all output the exact same resolution, because my switcher wants to see one format and one format only. And the SJCAMs are 1080i, not 1080p, but 1080i. And so is this S2, which is kind of cool. So there you go.